Welcome to JTube. This is my recap for the anime. I left my rank party to help my former students reach the dungeon depths. In this anime, our main character Yuke, after years of constant ridicule by his rank party members, he ditches them and formed his own party with his former students. If you enjoy my recaps, please think about subscribing. In a vicious dungeon, an S-ranked party has just sealed a gate, though only temporarily. They barely managed to defeat the Demon King. Otherwise, he would have devoured the world using the reverse dungeon Tenebra. Their leader remembers when his nephew's world faced the same fate. He gives hope to his team, saying, although we are trapped inside, one day a heroic party will come to save us. They will finish what we started. On the other side, an A-rank party is battling a Hydra in a dungeon. The 5-member team consists of a warrior, a swordsman, an offensive mage, a healer, and an alchemist. The alchemist is the most crucial member, mainly acting as a supporter. Using alchemy and magic, he buffs his teammates and weakens the Hydra. With his help, the party successfully defeats the monster. Their dungeon raid is being live-streamed, but the alchemist is often out of frame since he plays a supporting role. Their team Thunder Pike is very popular and people cheer after witnessing their heroic battle. Later, the whole party gathers at the guild tavern, but the alchemist Yuke announces his decision to resign. Their leader Simon is shocked. Is he stupid? Yuke explains that his cut is so low he's constantly in debt. Simon reminds him of the rule members are paid based on their contribution. Yuke asks what they mean. Warrior Barry scoffs, saying Yuke is lucky to be paid at all since all he does is stay back and waste inventory. Mage Jamie blames him for their struggles, calling his artifacts like the livestream tool useless. Yuka's heart breaks when even Camilla, whom he supports the most in battle, joins the criticism. Crushed Yuke asks if he truly has no value in the team. Simon taunts him, saying they wouldn't even notice his absence. He also reminds Yuke that as a B ranker, he's only in an A rank party because Simon showed mercy as his childhood friend. As Yuke turns to leave, Barry sneers, telling him never to come crawling back. This world is a medieval-themed fantasy setting, but people use magical tools like neon lights and watch live streams on TVs and tablets. Yuke arrives at the finest city, Adventurers Guild, and asks an employee for a job. She immediately asks if he left Thunder Pike, as they are quite popular. He confirms that he has. She hands him a form to fill out. He writes name Yuke Feldio, age 20, job red mage and alchemist. Noticing his perfect handwriting, the employee praises him. Yuke explains that his job requires precise penmanship. Suddenly, out of nowhere, a red-haired warrior girl hugs him, exclaiming that it's been ages since she last saw him. Yuke recognizes her, Marina, one of his former students. She thanks him for his adventurer preliminary training and reminds him of Silk and Rain, who are also doing well. When she asks why he's at the guild, Yuke says he's looking for a party. Excited, Marina grabs his form, saying their team needs a member. It would be amazing if their former teacher joined them. Later, Yuke holds a meeting with Marina, Silk, and Rain. Silk, a ranger and spirit user, asks why he wants to form a party with his former students. Marina dismisses the concern, saying he would be a valuable addition. Rain, a monk mage hybrid, agrees. Silk clarifies that she's only asking because Yuke is a B ranker while they are just rookie D rankers. He could easily find a better party than us. Yuke explains that being in an A rank party forced him to use costly items, leaving him broke. Joining a D rank party would help him regain financial stability. Understanding his situation, the trio welcomes him with a cheer, one of us. Yuke tells them that since they are all in the same party, there's no need for formality. They can simply call him Yuke instead of Mr. Feldio. Hearing this, the trio politely greets him by name, which makes him feel refreshed and at ease once again. After everything is set, Silk informs them that they have a quest today in the Paintal abandoned mine dungeon to gather magical ores. Later, they meet at the area. Before entering, Yuke asks Silk about the best mining spots. Silk explains that the 5th level has a boss they want to avoid. Hearing this, Yuke suggests they mine on the 4th floor instead. With a reassuring smile, he tells them don't worry, just enjoy the process. Inside the dungeon, Marina uses a metal rod to detect traps. Yuke is pleased to see them following the exact methods he had taught, but knows he has a better way. He asks them to follow him, but Marina points out that in the absence of a thief or scout, the swordsman should take the vanguard role. In response, Yuke reveals an artifact, a detecting lantern. It burns a special oil and its light reveals hidden traps. Silk expresses concern that the oil must be expensive, but Yuke reassures them, explaining that he can create it using alchemy. Taking the lead, Yuke instructs the others to stay behind, assigning Marina to guard against ambushes from the rear. As they move forward, nostalgia hits him. This was the first dungeon Thunder Pike ever explored. Silk quickly fires an arrow and Marina charges forward. Yuke casts support magic, buffing Marina's strength, agility, and stamina while using snare to debuff the Bogles. With his support, Marina slices through them like watermelons. After the battle, Marina feels almost weightless from his magic. Yuke praises her, saying she's gotten stronger. He only used 3 buffs. Rain, shocked, wonders how he cast 3 spells at once without an incantation. The team praises Yuke's skill, but he simply tells them to get back to collecting ores. As they move on, Yuke asks about their dungeon strategy. Marina explains that they take breaks at each floor and restock their status just as he taught them. They rest briefly as their gear has taken minimal damage, then proceed to the second level. Suddenly they encounter a horde of undead miners. Yuke instructs Rain to use her offensive spell, but she needs time for the incantation. Silk and Marina step up to cover her while Yuke casts a protection spell, stopping the undead's advance. As the battle rages, Rain finally completes her incantation, unleashing a powerful spell that vaporizes all the enemies at once. The team cheers for her, but Yuke quickly points out that using such a strong spell must have drained a lot of her mana. He then casts Refresh Mana on her. Rain is stunned. Only a few mages can use such a spell. Just this ability alone could promote you to a rank, she exclaims. Yuke dismisses her excitement, saying she's exaggerating. Seeing Yuke pouring something on the undead footprints, Silk asks what he's doing. He explains that it's holy water. By pouring it, they can prevent another undead ambush. Silk points out that holy water is extremely expensive, but Yuke casually says he can make it himself. The team is shocked. How? He's not even a priest. Yuke smiles and reveals a secret. He uses ashes from undead monsters combined with his alchemy skills to create holy water. The group is impressed, happy to be learning from such an experienced adventurer. Later, they reach the 3rd level and decide to take a break for a meal. Yuke pulls out cooking accessories from his magic bag and starts preparing omelets and bacon. He also brings out a magical soup pot which serves a different random soup each time. Seeing all these artifacts, Rain gets excited and asks about them. Yuke explains that his magic bag is a costly item, while the soup pot was something he found in a royal dungeon castle. He had to repair it using leg and some enchanted arms, but it was worth it. Rain admires the artifacts and says she wants to buy them someday. Yuke encourages her, saying she will if she keeps up the good work. As the food nears completion, the delicious aroma makes Marina even hungrier. Finally, Yuke serves the meal. The whole party is shocked. Having a gourmet meal in the middle of a dungeon is completely unexpected. They praise him before eagerly digging in. As they enjoy their meal, Silk notices that the food is packed with mana. Curious, she asks Yuke about it. Yuke praises her sharp perception and explains that cooking is a form of alchemy. He simply infused it with a bit of love, which will help them in their next battle. Silk, confused, wonders how love can be an ingredient or how food can contain mana. Before she can overthink, Rain sighs and tells her, don't go crazy. Just take a deep breath and accept it. After their meal, they reach the 4th floor where they encounter a giant rock lizard, their main boss. Yuke quickly notices valuable resources on the lizard's back, making it clear they must defeat it. Before they can act, the lizard attacks first. Yuke responds by casting Slow, reducing the monster's movement speed. Taking advantage of this, Marina, fully buffed, charges forward and with a single powerful swing decapitates the beast. Though victorious, she is left exhausted from using her magic sword technique. Yuke reassures her, saying the more you use a skill, the easier it becomes. He then casts Refresh Mana on her, helping her recover. Yuke pulls out a pickaxe and starts mining ores. Silk tells him he doesn't need to do all the work alone, but Yuke insists, saying they can focus on gathering items while he handles the mining. After collecting a good amount of ore, Yuke asks how much they need. Silk replies that just a bit more will be enough. Thinking ahead, Yuke suggests they take on the boss of the next floor. His words make everyone uneasy. The steel crab on the 5th floor is far stronger than the rock lizard. They aren't sure if their current skill level is enough to handle it. Sensing their hesitation, Yuke encourages them to have faith in him. He also wants to prove just how useful he can be. They assure him that they're already blown away by his skills, but Yuke simply smiles and says, I still have more to show you. They reach the floor gate where the boss awaits on the other side. Yuke tells them he will fight alone and asks them to stay back, only stepping in if necessary. Rain notices Yuke pulling out a Camrad artifact and asks if he's planning to livestream. Yuke explains that he's just recording the fight for future analysis. However, Marina suggests he should do a livestream instead, it'll be fun. Yuke agrees but asks for their party name first. Silk, looking a bit down, says they don't have one yet, they're not even officially registered as a party. Yuke asks for name ideas. Marina suggests Clover because they were 3 and Yuka makes them lucky 4. Silk and Rain like the idea, so Yuka decides that after the battle they'll go to the guild and officially register as Clover. Since this will be their first ever live stream and he's fighting alone, Yuka asks if anyone has a problem with it. Everyone assures him they don't. With that settled, he buffs himself with Great Haste, Blink Shadow, and Protector Shield before starting the live stream. Finally, he opens the gate and steps inside. The floor is rich with resources, but the steel crab looks far more terrifying and dangerous than the rock lizard. The crab attacks first, but Yuka dodges in an instant. Without hesitation, he continuously casts Paralyze, Slow Venom, Collapse, and Blindness, completely immobilizing the boss. Then he casts Gravity, causing the crab to collapse under its own weight. He just defeated a B rank boss using only debuff spells. Everyone rushes to congratulate him, but Marina hugs him so tightly that he feels like he might get crushed. Silk and Rain praise his skills, while Rain is amazed at how many spells he can cast at once without even chanting. Meanwhile, Yuka is begging for help. Silk tells Marina to release him and she quickly apologizes. Yuka then stores the giant crab in a magic box before they open the reward chest together. Inside they find a pile of valuable ores. They celebrate their victory happily. In this fantasy world, dungeon fight streaming is one of the most popular forms of entertainment. People often live stream battles and create short tutorial videos. A content creator's popularity can even help them rank up faster and attract sponsorships. Recently, Yuka's live stream has started gaining attention. He defeated a B rank boss using only debuff spells. On their way back to the city by wagon, Yuka jokingly asks if they are satisfied with their new member's performance. Everyone praises him for his support magic and the delicious food he made. Yuka expresses concern that it might be awkward for a teacher to be in a party with his students if he can't keep up. Silk reassures him, saying he's overthinking, and invites him to become the party leader. She had been leading out of necessity, but who would be better suited than a teacher? Yuka hesitates, saying he just joined Clover today. Marina points out Clover didn't exist before today, and Rain adds that his experience will be valuable for their future. After thinking for a moment about the responsibility he's going to take, Yuka accepts the role, but on one condition: if he ever makes a mistake, they must let him know. Everyone cheers for him and Silk feels confident she made the right decision. Meanwhile, Thunder Pike is battling in a dungeon with a new recruit. Despite being an A-rank party, they struggle against a C-rank pack of monster wolves. Suddenly, their mage Jamie gets bitten by a wolf. Simon manages to free her, but she is badly injured. Simon calls for their healer Camilla, but she is out of mana. With no other choice, they retreat to a safe place. Jamie's condition worsens and Simon orders Camilla to use a mana potion. She replies, "I don't have any. The chore boy always brought supplies." Simon turns to Barry, but he says the same. Finally, he asks the new recruit Croc. Croc hesitates to hand over his mana potion, reminding them of their rule: everyone brings their own supplies. Simon snaps, "This isn't the time to argue." Reluctantly, Croc hands over the potion and Camilla heals Jamie. Clover arrives at the guild tavern to celebrate their victory. Yuka mentions that while the quest reward was small, he sold the steel crab for a good price. He then asks how they distribute rewards. Silk replies that she manages the finances. Yuka is surprised that a single person handles all the money, but finds it convenient. Silk explains they are saving to buy a base since living costs are high. Realizing she is managing finances wisely, Yuka tells her to add his share to the Clover Vault. On the other side of the tavern, Thunder Pike discusses their recent raid. Simon calls it disappointing and embarrassing, though they at least managed to save Jamie. They then start blaming the new recruit Croc for no reason. Croc argues that it's their fault for not bringing beast-repelling scent, knowing that monster wolves have a strong sense of smell. Instead of accepting their mistake, they blame him again, saying he should have warned them and brought extra potions. Frustrated, Croc insults them, calling them a bunch of losers with no basic experience, and leaves the party. Yuka notices their shout and thinks, what they doing here? Marina asks what their plans are for tomorrow. Silk explains that as Yuka taught them, they take a 2-day break after each raid for recovery. Marina then asks Yuka how he spends those 2 days. He replies that he has plenty to do, restocking potions, visiting the artifact market, and using the ashes from the undead to make holy water. Rain admits she's a bit jealous that Yuka is both a mage and an alchemist. Yuka chuckles and asks if she's sure, since people often say alchemists aren't good adventurers. He then tells everyone to meet at the guild on the 3rd day to check out their next quest. Suddenly, an ad clip pops up on the tavern's TV. It's Yuka's battle scene against the Steel Crab, also known as the Novice Slayer, from his recent livestream. His video is going viral, gaining over 5,000 views in just a few hours. Two cat mascots on the screen break down how Yuke managed to defeat the boss using only weakening magic. The people in the tavern cheer for him as the view count crosses 6,000. Yuke guesses it's gaining traction because many adventurers have faced that boss early in their journey but struggled to defeat it, so they might be looking for tips. Marina, however, insists that no matter the reason, no one can match Yuke's skill. They celebrate with a toast, but Yuke gets emotional. Silk asks if something is wrong, but he ignores it. Meanwhile, a wealthy overweight man watches them from behind a curtain. On the third day, Yuke arrives at the guild searching for quests on the quest board. A guild employee approaches and offers assistance. Yuke tells her he's looking for a low reward but high point quest to help rank up their party faster. He knows Clover is a new party, but he believes they are capable of handling B rank quests. The employee suggests a C rank quest, retrieving 3 magical stones from Yeoman Waterfall. However, Yuke becomes suspicious. The quest seems too easy for its rank, meaning there could be hidden dangers. The guild employee confirms his suspicion, explaining that intel suggests a magical beast resides in the forest. Yuke considers the risk. It's dangerous, but they will earn C rank points and rewards for completing a D rank quest. Just then, his party members arrive. Yuke begins explaining the quest, but Marina eagerly declares she's ready without even listening. Silk trusts his decision as their leader, and Rain has no objections. The guild employee proceeds with processing their quest. Yuke insists they should at least hear him out. Marina says they've visited the forest before and doesn't understand why the quest is C rank. Yuke explains that a magical beast has been sighted there. At first they feel uneasy, but Silk reminds them they need the points. Rain reassures him that as long as Yuke is with them, there's nothing to worry about. Yuke instructs them to prepare and meet at the location. They rush off and the guild employee hands Yuke the quest receipt. She then informs him that Clover's first live stream has surpassed 10,000 views and people are eagerly expecting more. Yuke wonders if he has attracted the wrong kind of attention. The employee mentions that she's also looking forward to the next stream. Yuke decides that this time he'll focus on showcasing the girls to give them the recognition they deserve. Meanwhile, the mysterious man from before is still watching him closely. As Yuke walks through the market, he notices a man secretly following him. Realizing it immediately, he takes a detour down a narrow alley to lose him. However, the man suddenly appears behind him. Yuke asks what he wants. The man tells him to leave Clover. Yuke asks why he should do that. The man draws his sword and claims he has been following the girls long before Yuke arrived, so he should be the leader of Clover instead. In response, Yuke casts a snare spell on the man's feet. He then advises him not to buy illegal potions and wander around drunk. Enraged, the man tries to charge at Yuke but instead slams into the ground. As they travel to the quest area by wagon, Silk reveals that she knows exactly who Yuke encountered. His name is Bezio Salas and he had approached them multiple times before. However, since he had no useful skills for the party, they never accepted him. Rain expresses concern for Yuke, but he reassures her that there's no problem. He left Bezio unconscious on the street. Marina confidently says they can always count on him. Yuke mentions that he will report the incident to the guild once they return. To lighten the mood, he hands out some candy. They then discuss their quest plan. Yuke explains that their main objective is to retrieve 3 magical stones from Yeoman Waterfall. However, Silk points out that their real challenge is the magical beast lurking in the forest. Yuke acknowledges that the forest is home to many wild animals, but they are unsure what kind of monster they will face. To gather more information, Yuke asks Marina when she last visited the forest and what creatures she encountered. She replies that she was there 2 months ago but didn't see any wild beasts. This surprises Yuke as his knowledge suggests the forest should be full of wildlife. Realizing something is off, he comes up with an idea. He will deploy the camera at. If it detects any unusual activity, it will automatically start live streaming. Rain questions why they need to live stream. Yuke explains that since they don't know what kind of magical beast they are dealing with, they may need to retreat if things go wrong. The footage from the camera will allow them to analyze the beast later. Additionally, if the situation becomes too dangerous, the guild can send reinforcements by monitoring their live stream. And if they successfully defeat the beast, the stream will serve as proof of their victory. Marina excitedly mentions that this will be their first ever live stream, prompting Rain and Silk to worry about their outfits. Yuke feels relieved, thinking this is normal behavior for girls their age. However, a thought crosses his mind. Since Silk is a dark elf, does she age like a human? Before he can say anything, Marina suddenly states that she knows what he's thinking. Silk is 17 years old. Yuke is shocked because he never said a word. Silk, however, gets angry, saying she never gave permission to reveal her age. She also scolds Yuke, reminding him that it's rude to ask a woman's age. Yuke is completely confused, unsure of what he did wrong. Rain then chimes in, clarifying that she is actually the oldest, she's 20. Yuke, still baffled, insists that he never asked for any of this. Since Rain is a dwarf, he casually remarks that she looks younger than her age. This instantly sours Rain's mood. Realizing his mistake, Yuke quickly apologizes, saying he didn't mean it that way. However, he understands that he has somehow landed himself in big trouble. They reach the edge of the forest and take a moment to review the possible dangers. Yuke specifically reminds them to retreat immediately if they sense any trouble. He then activates the camrat and leads the way into the forest. As they walk, they notice an eerie silence. There are no signs of animals. It seems they have fled for some reason. Marina questions why she is in the front line while Yuke is in the back, as they had the opposite formation in the dungeon. Yuke explains that since there are no traps in the forest, the real danger comes from predators, which often attack from behind. Silk expresses concern, asking if that doesn't put him at greater risk. Yuke reassures her, revealing that his outfit is actually a special type of armor designed to protect him from surprise attacks. Rain recognizes it immediately. It's a warlock attire, a highly defensive armor that not only amplifies magic but also rapidly restores mana. Hearing this, their worries fade away. As they hear the sound of the waterfall, they move closer, hoping to avoid the beast. However, a rustling noise from a nearby bush puts them on high alert. Yuke immediately activates the camrat and switches it to live stream mode. Suddenly, a magic beast Zarnag emerges. It is not native to this area, usually found in the northern wastelands or high-level dungeons. Its presence here is anything but normal, and Clover has no chance of defeating it alone. Realizing this, Yuke orders the team to retreat while he holds the monster back until the guild sends reinforcements. He entrusts Silk with leadership, reminding her that their top priority is survival. However, they refuse to leave. Marina insists that if Yuke can weaken and slow the beast, she can take its head. Rain begins chanting a powerful spell. Silk, as a spirit user, she says the forest gives her an advantage. Yuke warns them of the danger, but Marina argues that it is just as dangerous for him as it is for them. Left with no choice, Yuke accepts their resolve. They will fight together as Team Clover. Yuke casts a spell to enhance Marina's physical strength, and she charges forward. However, Zarnag blocks her sword with its bare hand and throws her aside with immense force. Realizing brute force won't work, Yuke unleashes a barrage of weakening spells, but they have no visible effect. Instead, Zarnag becomes even more furious. This confirms Yuke's suspicion it must be a special type of being. Marina quickly recovers and returns to the fight. At this point, Yuke decides he has no choice but to use that spell. He asks Marina to buy him some time and begins chanting a powerful incantation. While he prepares the spell, Marina holds the front line, keeping Zarnag engaged in combat. Silk supports by using her spirit art to summon vines, attempting to restrain the beast. As Yuke nears the final stage of his incantation, he orders Marina to retreat. The moment she moves back, he fires prismatic missiles straight at Zarnag.